When it comes to packing for an upcoming trip, people tend to want to pack anything and everything, but chances are you're going to end up overpacking, bringing along too much stuff, and regretting half the things you brought along. So in this video, I'll be taking you through some of the things you shouldn't bring when it comes to an upcoming trip. Now, these are going to be items if you're especially looking towards backpacking, doing solo travel, packing just one bag to bring along with you. If you're fortunate enough to be traveling in business class where they allow you to travel with 50 kilos of luggage and you're going to have chauffeurs driving you along everywhere, obviously all of this stuff will not apply to you. This is for people that are trying to do minimal style travel, bringing along just what they need and packing with the least amount of stuff to get through their trip. So the first thing that you shouldn't bring when you're packing for a trip is a new pair of shoes. I know the temptation to want to have the best photos and the shiniest new clothes and the shiniest new shoes is very high when it comes to an upcoming trip, but don't make this mistake, and I can speak from experience. You want to bring a pair of shoes that are comfortable to walk in, you've used plenty before, otherwise you're going to end up getting terrible blisters and you're going to end up regretting your decision. I find a casual sneaker such as Nike Air Force Ones are pretty versatile. You can wear them when you're going out for a walk, when you're going out for even a nice dinner. They can be dressed up, dressed down. They're fairly comfortable and they are very sturdy, and I've used them extensively, traveling from all over India to traveling all over Europe, and they've never missed a beat. Don't worry about bringing any other fancy shoes for the ladies. Don't worry about bringing high heels. Don't worry about wearing anything that's going to be uncomfortable for extended periods of time. If you do want to bring another pair of shoes, obviously you can bring another pair, but just be mindful that they do take up a lot of space in your backpack or your luggage. And if that's something you're okay with, then that's all well and good. But personally, I've always found taking one pair of shoes and a pair of slippers to wear around the hotel or the hostels is perfectly adequate for my needs. Now, the next thing which you shouldn't bring when traveling is expensive clothes, jewelries, or accessories. Not only are these things going to make you stand out and make you a target for theft, but chances are you're probably not going to end up wanting to wear them anyway because you're going to fear damaging them. If you're staying in places like hostels, Airbnbs, or hotels, chances are they're going to have laundry facilities, and that will obviously include dryers as well. I've used my fair share of hostel laundry facilities, and I can tell you for a fact that your shirts and clothes, once they come out of those dryers, will not look the same. What I do whenever I'm trying to pack for an upcoming trip in terms of clothing is I look at what I've got in my dirty laundry hamper. Chances are those are the clothes that I'm wearing the most, and those are the clothes I'm most comfortable in. Hence, those are the ones I will likely want to bring to my next trip. Stick to the basics, try and mix and match outfits, pre-plan your outfits ahead of time, check the weather, and that way you only need to bring a select few items on your upcoming trip. And if you do happen to want to get new clothes, or you find yourself wanting a different outfit, you can always buy clothes at your destination. Unless you're going to the middle of nowhere, every place will have shops where you can buy clothes, and better yet, that will act as a souvenir from your trip when you do end up buying that item. Now, carrying on from clothing, another thing which you should avoid bringing is large or bulky pieces of clothing, specifically puffer jackets. I know especially if you're wanting to go to a colder place of the world, or if you're traveling in winter, you're going to be inclined to want to pack very heavy coats, jackets, stuff of that sort, which are going to take up a lot of space in your bag and are going to be very heavy. But what I've found is that this isn't the right approach to take. Instead, what you should do is focus on layering. Get an undershirt, put another shirt on top, get a light jacket, and that should be plenty for when you are traveling in the colder climates. Plus, unless you're going in the dead of winter, you're going to be walking around doing sightseeing, and naturally you're going to get warm and you're not going to be needing all those extra layers anyway. Now, the next thing which I'd say you should avoid bringing are hair dryers, hair straighteners, or any other hair related / bathroom electronic equipment. Now, I know the ladies are going to hate that I'm saying this, but chances are you're going to end up not wanting to bring this stuff because the voltages vary from country to country, so chances are your electronic equipment may not work in the first place, and chances are wherever you're going to be staying at your destination, they're going to have that equipment anyway. So don't worry about bringing your fancy Dysons and your expensive equipment. Leave all that stuff back home. And if you do happen to be unfortunately caught up where there isn't a hairdryer, for instance, it's not the end of the world. Embrace a bit of frizz. It's not going to kill you at the end of the day. You're going to have nice memories. You're going to be remembering the things you did while you were on your trip, not how your hair looked on that day. Now, the next thing which you should avoid bringing is workout equipment. I know I've personally been guilty of this, and I have seen people bring along workout equipment and not end up using it, because when you are traveling, you're going to be walking around and you're going to get tired. When you're going to be tired, you're not going to be wanting to work out. So leave that exercise equipment behind. If you were to bring one thing, I'd say a resistance band is okay, because it doesn't take up much space or weight, and you can get a pretty decent workout with a resistance band. If you are eager to work out, I have found a pretty good life hack, which is that whenever you're in a new city for a few days and you do want to work out, you can sign up for a free gym trial. You can just sign up, put your hotel or hostel address in there, and chances are they're never going to contact you again because you will have moved on by then. So free gym trials are a good way to get in a workout if you need. Otherwise, skip the workouts. You need a holiday. You're on a holiday for a reason, and that includes not needing to work out. Now, the next thing which you shouldn't bring is physical books. I know the romanticism and the mystique of bringing a nice book and reading it on your travels sounds all well and good. And who knows, it probably is good. I can't relate because I haven't ever brought a physical book, but I have seen a lot of people do that. But it makes me cringe when I see such a big book being lugged around, and it takes up so much space, can get easily damaged, and you're better just to get a Kindle or just borrow a book from the place you're staying, because chances are it's going to be more memorable and you're going to have a much better time traveling without the burden of such a heavy book with you. If you are adamant on bringing a book for whatever reason, who am I to judge? You can just bring one book. Don't bring multiple books. I know some cities even have book swaps, which are on the streets. You can pick a book and read it and return it, which is a nice way to not only see the city, but also get a nice little memory from that place you were staying at. Now, the next one might be a bit more controversial, but this is an item which I ended up liking at the start of my traveling, but recently I've kind of felt that it's not the best, and that is crossbody bags. Now, crossbody bags are fine if you're just carrying a few items, say just your phone, maybe a wallet, but if you start putting in your camera, your water bottle, maybe a little diary, some pens, coins, that crossbody bag is going to get very heavy very quick, and chances are you're going to start hurting your back, and it's going to get very painful around your shoulder and your neck when you're walking around the whole day with it. If you have a small crossbody bag, I'd say those are okay. I'd stay clear of the very large ones which you can easily fill up, because when you're on holiday, you want to bring as much stuff as you can, and naturally you're going to fill that crossbody bag, and the next thing you know it, your back's going to hurt, your shoulder's going to hurt, and you're just going to get annoyed that you brought this item. What I'd recommend instead is to just bring a backpack. So if you're traveling with one backpack, bring a smaller backpack within that backpack. I know it sounds a bit weird to have a backpack within a backpack, but what I've done is I've taken my larger 40-liter backpack, I'll pack a smaller backpack within that backpack, and oh my god, I've said backpack so many times, but you get what I mean. Get a smaller backpack, put it in the larger backpack. When you arrive at your destination, take the smaller bag out. You can use that for your day trips and so on, and that way you have much more comfort. You can pack just what you need, and if you do want to bring more stuff, it will be much better on your body having the backpack bearing the weight rather than a crossbody bag. Now, the next thing is not an item per se, but just an idea, which is that you should just avoid bringing too much stuff in general. I've said this a lot, especially in my previous videos, and I'll say it once again. You can always buy stuff when you arrive at your destination, because unless you're going to the middle of nowhere, there's going to be shops, there's going to be people there, people need stuff. You're a person, you can buy stuff at that destination. When you're traveling with a lot of stuff, it becomes very tiring. You're going to get angry bringing all this stuff and having to lug it, especially on public transport. If you're going to be walking from train stations to your accommodation, chances are it's going to be on footpaths, let alone cobblestone streets. And I've seen my fair share of broken wheels on suitcases, and trust me, it's not a fun experience. So pack half the stuff, take twice the money, and that way you can buy whatever you need and it will act as a souvenir when you're there and you need to buy something, and you'll thank me later for not packing all that stuff and not using half of it. So that was my list of items which you shouldn't bring when you're traveling, especially solo traveling or traveling with just one bag. Now, if there's other items which you reckon that you could add to this list, feel free to add them to the comments. Keep an eye out for the next video where I'll make the opposite of this video, which is things you should pack for an upcoming trip, especially using just one bag. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.